The metal doors slid open with a soft hiss as Dr. James Miller walked into the underground laboratory. His footsteps echoed through the massive chamber where rows of cloning tanks glowed with an eerie blue light. 20 years of work had led to this moment, and his hands trembled slightly as he approached the central monitoring station. "Status report," he called out to his team, trying to keep his voice steady despite his excitement. "DNA reconstruction is at 99.8% completion," replied Dr. Tom Wilson, his eyes fixed on the screens showing complex genetic sequences. "The enhanced healing factors have been successfully integrated into the base genome." The project had started as a simple attempt to bring back extinct species, but when the alien ships appeared in the sky 3 years ago, everything changed. The Dominion, as they called themselves, had demanded Earth's immediate surrender. Their technology was centuries ahead of humanity's best weapons, and their energy shields made conventional warfare useless. But humans had always been good at thinking outside the box. "Final sequence completing now," announced Dr. Wilson. The main tank in the center of the room bubbled more intensely, its contents shifting from blue to a pale green. Inside, a shape began to form. Dr. Miller pressed his hand against the cold glass, watching as bones materialized, followed by muscle and skin. The creature taking shape was both familiar and alien. A velociraptor, but not quite like the fossils they'd studied. This one was larger, its skeleton reinforced with carbon fiber-like structures grown right into the bone. Its muscle density was 3 times that of the original species, and its skin incorporated elements that could deflect energy weapons. "Sir," called out Lisa, one of the younger scientists, "General Roberts is here." The general strode into the lab, his uniform crisp despite the late hour. His weathered face showed the strain of leading Earth's forces against an enemy that outmatched them in every way. "Please tell me you have good news, Doctor." Dr. Miller smiled. "See for yourself, General." The tank's fluid began to drain. The creature inside twitched, then opened its eyes. They were a striking amber color, with an intelligence that none of them had expected. As the fluid level dropped, the raptor stood on its powerful legs, water cascading off its scaled body. "Vital signs are stable," reported Dr. Wilson. "Brain activity is within expected parameters. She's perfect." General Roberts stepped closer to the tank, studying the creature. "Will it follow orders?" "The neural implants are already active," Dr. Miller explained. "Watch this." He pressed a button on his tablet, sending a simple command. The raptor immediately turned its head toward him, then lowered it in a gesture of submission. "How many can you make?" the general asked. "With the processes we've developed, we can have 100 ready in a month. And this is just the beginning. We've got enhanced terror birds in development, and we're working on something even bigger." The raptor clicked its claws against the tank's floor, testing its footing. Its movements were precise, calculated. This wasn't just an animal. It was a weapon, designed to fight in ways the aliens would never expect. "The Dominion thinks they have us beaten," Dr. Miller continued. "Their shields stop our bullets, their armor deflects our lasers. But they've never faced anything like this. These creatures hunted and killed on Earth when it was even more dangerous than it is now. We've just improved on nature's design a bit." General Roberts nodded slowly. "The Council called Earth a Deathworld when they first found us. Said we were crazy to live on a planet with such dangerous wildlife and extreme environments. Now we'll show them why we survived here." The raptor let out a low growl, as if agreeing with the general's words. In the other tanks around the lab, more shapes were beginning to take form. Larger, more terrifying creatures from Earth's violent past. "Begin full production," ordered the general. And Dr. Miller, "Good work. Maybe we have a chance after all." As the general left, Dr. Miller turned back to the raptor. Its intelligent eyes tracked his movement, and he could see the deadly purpose in every line of its engineered body. The aliens thought Earth was primitive, thought humans were weak. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. Deep within the Rocky Mountain facility, Alarms blared through the underground halls. Dr. Miller ran towards holding area B, his heart pounding. Behind him, Dr. Wilson struggled to keep up, tablet clutched tightly in his hands. "What happened?" Dr. Miller shouted over the noise. "The bear," Dr. Wilson gasped. "It broke through the first containment door." They reached the observation room overlooking the holding area. Inside the massive chamber, a creature that hadn't walked the earth for thousands of years was demonstrating exactly why it had once been one of the most feared predators in North America. The enhanced short-faced bear, standing 15 feet tall on its hind legs, had torn through a steel door like it was paper. "Status of the neural controls?" Dr. Miller asked, watching as the bear's muscles rippled under its thick fur. The creature was nearly twice the size of its ancient ancestors, with bone density that could withstand direct hits from military weapons. "Still working," Lisa reported from her station. "But it's fighting the commands. These bears are more aggressive than the raptors." Dr. Miller grabbed the main control panel. They couldn't lose this specimen, not when they were so close to perfecting the enhancement process. He activated the facility's speakers. "Subject Beta, stand down," he commanded. The bear turned its massive head toward the observation window, its enhanced eyes glowing slightly in the dim light. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the giant creature lowered itself to all fours. The neural implants were working, barely keeping the bear's natural aggression in check. "That's it," Dr. Miller said softly. "Easy now." The door behind them opened, and Captain Pete walked in. He was one of the military handlers assigned to work with the revived creatures, and the scars on his arms showed it wasn't an easy job. "How's our big friend doing?" he asked, watching the bear through the window. "Better," Dr. Miller replied. "But these larger predators are proving more challenging to control than we expected. The raptors are working perfectly in packs now, but the bears, it's their solitary nature," Dr. Wilson cut in. "They're not used to taking orders from anyone." In another part of the facility, they had more success. The terror birds, enhanced with lightweight armor and boosted speed, were already performing combat drills with their handlers. The giant ground sloths, while slower, had proven to be excellent mobile tanks, their bioengineered armor making them nearly indestructible. "The Dominion hit another colony yesterday," Captain Pete said quietly. "New Mars didn't stand a chance. We need these units combat-ready soon." Dr. Miller nodded. "Show me the latest training results." They moved to the main control room, where screens showed various training sessions in progress. In one arena, a pack of raptors worked in perfect coordination with human soldiers, using their speed and enhanced strength to breach defensive positions. Another screen showed terror birds running at incredible speeds, easily keeping pace with military vehicles. "The aliens won't expect this," Captain Pete said, watching the footage. "Their reports still show they think we're just a primitive species with basic weapons. Their arrogance will be their downfall," Dr. Miller replied. "They think technology is the only path to power. They forgot that nature spent millions of years perfecting killing machines right here on Earth." A junior scientist rushed into the room, excitement clear on his face. "Dr. Miller, the final test results are in. The vacuum adaptation modifications are working." This was what they had been waiting for. If they could deploy their creatures in space, the Dominion's superiority in orbital combat would mean nothing. "Begin the final phase," Dr. Miller ordered. "It's time to show the aliens what Earth's primitive species can do." In their holding areas throughout the facility, hundreds of creatures from Earth's violent past prepared for war. Enhanced, improved, but still carrying the instincts that had made them apex predators millions of years ago. The Dominion had no idea what was coming. Humanity was about to remind the galaxy why Earth was called a Deathworld, and this time, the monsters of their planet's past would fight alongside them. Captain Pete stood in the training arena, his heart racing, but his hand steady as he faced down the Velociraptor pack. 5 pairs of intelligent eyes watched his every move. These weren't just animals anymore. They were soldiers waiting for orders. Formation Delta, he commanded through the neural link. Immediately, the raptors spread out in a perfect hunting pattern. The neural technology had come a long way in the past months, allowing for complex commands without speaking a word. From the observation deck above, Dr. Miller watched with satisfaction. "Show me the night operation," he called down. Captain Pete nodded and pressed a button on his wrist controller. The arena lights dimmed to almost complete darkness. In the faint glow of emergency strips, the raptors' eyes gleamed with a subtle red light, another enhancement that gave them perfect night vision. "Run the breach scenario," Dr. Miller ordered. Mechanical targets sprang up around the arena, simulating an alien defensive position. Captain Pete sent a mental command, and the raptors moved like shadows. Their claws, now enhanced with materials that could pierce alien armor, made short work of the targets. The entire operation took less than 30 seconds. "Impressive," said General Roberts, who had been quietly watching from the corner. "But can they handle real combat conditions?" As if answering his question, an alarm suddenly blared through the facility. "Alert! Containment breach in Section C," announced the automated system. "The bears," Captain Pete muttered. He quickly secured the raptors and rushed toward the disturbance, Dr. Miller and the general following close behind. They found chaos in Section C. 2 enhanced short-faced bears had broken free from their handlers. The massive creatures were tearing through equipment, their neural controls temporarily offline. "Everyone out," Captain Pete shouted to the panicked staff. But instead of running, he stepped forward, activating his neural transmitter to its highest setting. "Stand down," he commanded, both verbally and mentally. The bears turned toward him, growling. For a moment, it seemed like they would charge. Then, slowly, their enhanced eyes stopped glowing so intensely, and they lowered their massive heads. "That's it," Pete said softly, maintaining eye contact. "You're soldiers now, and soldiers follow orders." The bears gradually calmed down, allowing their handlers to approach and restore full neural control. "See," Captain Pete turned to the general. "Even when the technology fails, we can still control them. It just takes understanding and respect. These aren't just weapons, they're partners." Later that day, in the main training complex, they ran their first full integration exercise. Raptors moved in coordination with human special forces teams. Enhanced terror birds provided high-speed transport for scouts. The bears, now fully under control, acted as heavy assault units, while the giant ground sloths formed living walls of armor. "The real challenge will be space combat," Dr. Miller said, reviewing the exercise data. "The vacuum adaptations are holding, but we've never deployed prehistoric creatures in zero gravity." "Then let's find out," General Roberts replied. "The Dominion is planning something big. Our intelligence suggests they're gathering a fleet for a major attack. We need to be ready." Captain Pete watched as his raptor team executed another perfect drill. "We'll be ready. The aliens think they know what Earth creatures can do, but they've never seen anything like this." In the largest training area, they began space combat drills. The creatures, protected by their bioengineered adaptations, learned to move in zero gravity. The raptors proved especially adaptable, using their claws and enhanced muscles to maneuver between structures. Even the bears, once properly trained, became terrifying space combat units. "The Dominion won't know what hit them," Captain Pete said, watching a pack of raptors tear through a simulated alien ship hull. "That's the idea," Dr. Miller replied. "They called us primitive. They mocked our simple weapons. Now they'll learn why Earth's creatures were feared across an entire planet." As night fell over the facility, the sounds of training continued. Humanity's new army was preparing for war, combining the raw power of Earth's prehistoric past with the technology of its present. The aliens thought they had humanity outmatched. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The Dominion fleet appeared above Mars Colony without warning. 30 ships, their silver hulls gleaming in the dim sunlight, moved into attack formation. Inside the colony's command center, emergency alarms blared. Multiple hostile ships detected. The defense officer shouted, "They're launching drop pods." Colony Commander Jack watched the tactical display with a grim smile. "Right on schedule. Signal Earth Command. Operation Prehistoric is go." Deep within the colony's specially built holding areas, Captain Pete stood ready with his raptor pack. The creatures were eerily calm, their enhanced minds understanding the gravity of the moment. Through the neural link, he could sense their eagerness for the coming battle. "Remember your training," he told them, checking his own vacuum suit one last time. "Today we show them what Earth can do." The first Dominion drop pods crashed through the colony's outer defense zone. Alien warriors, confident in their advanced armor and energy shields, emerged ready for an easy victory. Their intelligence suggested minimal resistance, just the usual primitive human weapons. They were wrong. Now, Commander Jack ordered through the colony-wide comm system. The holding bay doors burst open. Captain Pete and his raptor pack shot out into the Martian atmosphere, their bioengineered bodies perfectly adapted to the harsh environment. The raptors moved with terrifying grace in the low gravity, their enhanced muscles and reinforced claws finding perfect purchase on the colony's outer hull. The aliens froze at the sight. Their combat data had nothing on this. Before they could react, the raptors were among them. Energy shields flared uselessly as claws enhanced with Earth's strongest materials tore through alien armor like paper. The raptors worked in perfect coordination with their human handlers, using tactics practiced countless times on Earth. By the Great Void, an alien commander transmitted, "What are these creatures?" "Just some extinct Earth animals," Captain Pete replied over the open channel, watching his pack tear through another squad of alien warriors. "We thought you might like to meet them." More holding bays opened. Enhanced terror birds soared through Mars' thin atmosphere, their massive talons ripping into alien dropships. The short-faced bears, now fully under control, formed living tanks that alien weapons couldn't penetrate. Command ship reports critical damage. An alien transmission crackled. "Their biological weapons are breaching our hulls. How is this possible?" The Dominion forces began to retreat, but Earth's commanders had planned for this. From hidden hangars, the giant ground sloths emerged, their bioengineered armor now fitted with magnetic clamps. They attached themselves to the fleeing ships, their massive claws tearing open holes for the raptors to enter. "The ships are being breached," another alien transmission screamed. There are monsters inside the ships." Captain Pete led his pack through a torn hull, the raptors moving efficiently through the zero-gravity environment they trained for. Alien crew members fled in terror as Earth's ancient predators brought the battle into their own ships. "Impossible," the alien fleet commander broadcast. "These are primitive creatures from a death world. How can they fight in space?" "You called Earth a death world." Commander Jack replied calmly, "Did you ever stop to wonder why? These primitive creatures ruled our planet when it was far more dangerous than it is now. We just helped them adapt to a new hunting ground. Within an hour, the battle was over. The mighty Dominion fleet retreated in disarray, leaving behind destroyed ships and shocked survivors." Captain Pete stood on the colony's observation deck, watching the raptors help secure alien prisoners. The creatures moved with pride, knowing they had protected their human partners. "Send word to Earth Command," Commander Jack ordered. First contact successful. The enhanced creatures performed beyond expectations. The Dominion's shields and armor proved ineffective against biological weapons. As the adrenaline of battle faded, Captain Pete reached down to pat the nearest raptor's reinforced skull. Through their neural link, he could sense its satisfaction and its hunger for more battles to come. "They thought technology was everything," he said quietly. "They forgot that nature spent millions of years perfecting the art of war. Welcome to Earth's way of fighting." "They're back," Commander Jack announced grimly, staring at the massive holographic display. "And they've brought their entire battle fleet. The space above Mars now filled with hundreds of Dominion ships. Their new design showed heavy armor plating and reinforced hull sections, modifications clearly made after their last defeat. The aliens had learned from their losses, but so had humanity. Dr. Miller stood in the colony's command center, watching the incoming fleet. Have they seen our new units yet? No, Captain Pete replied, smiling. The Element X units are still in hiding. They have no idea what's waiting for them. The Dominion's first transmission came through, their commander's voice filled with rage. Surrender your biological weapons immediately. The use of such primitive creatures is an insult to civilized warfare. Commander Jack pressed the response button. You invaded our colonies. You called us primitive. Now you're angry because we fought back. He nodded to Captain Pete. Show them how primitive we can be. From the dark side of Mars, humanity's full arsenal emerged. The enhanced velociraptors, now equipped with specialized space armor, moved in perfect formation. Behind them came the new units, massive megalodons brought back from extinction and modified for space combat. Their huge forms, protected by bioengineered space adaptations, moved through the void like deadly shadows. By the void, the alien commander gasped. What have you done? We went deeper into Earth's past, Dr. Miller replied calmly over the channel. Did you know our oceans once held creatures that made our land predators look small? The battle began. The Dominion's new armor proved tough, but they hadn't counted on the megalodons enhanced by force. The giant creatures, their jaws now capable of crushing spaceship hulls, tore into the alien fleet. Terror birds, fitted with new propulsion systems, darted between enemy ships. Their enhanced talons, designed to pierce the strongest materials on Earth, found weak points in the alien vessels. The bears, now working in coordinated groups, acted as boarding parties, their massive strength letting them tear through even the reinforced hulls. Multiple breaches reported. An alien officer screamed over the open channel. The water beasts are inside the command ship. They're everywhere. Captain Pete led his raptor pack through the chaos, their movements practiced and precise. The neural links now worked perfectly, letting humans and creatures fight as one unit. Where technology failed, tooth and claw succeeded. From his command post, Dr. Miller monitored the creatures' vital signs. The space adaptations are holding perfectly, he reported. All units are performing above expected parameters. The Dominion fleet tried to regroup, forming a defensive sphere. That's when Commander Jack revealed humanity's final surprise. From hidden bases on Mars moons came the largest creatures yet, enhanced plesiosaurs, their long necks and powerful bodies perfect for space combat. You wanted to see primitive. Commander Jack broadcast to the increasingly panicked alien fleet. These creatures ruled Earth's oceans for millions of years. Now they rule space too. The plesiosaurs moved with surprising grace, their bioengineered bodies letting them swim through space as easily as their ancestors had through water. They wrapped their long necks around alien ships, crushing them like toys. Fall back, the Dominion commander ordered. Fall back to the secondary position. But there was nowhere safe to fall back to. The Earth creatures had adapted to space warfare better than anyone expected. Natural hunting instincts, enhanced by modern science, proved more effective than the most advanced alien technology. As the battle wound down, Captain Pete stood in a captured Dominion ship, his raptor pack securing alien prisoners. Through the viewport, he watched a megalodon tear apart one of the last enemy cruisers. They never understood, he said to Dr. Miller over the comm. Earth wasn't just our home. It was our teacher. Every creature we brought back, every adaptation we made, it all came from lessons learned over millions of years of evolution. And now, Commander Jack added, the galaxy will learn those lessons too. The Earth forces regrouped, preparing for the next phase of the war. The Dominion had started this fight thinking they faced a primitive species. Now they faced the combined might of humanity's technology and Earth's most perfect killing machines. The real war was just beginning. The Earth's moon base stood silent, its surface dotted with defensive positions. Inside the main control room, Dr. Miller and Captain Pete watched as the largest Dominion fleet yet appeared on their scanners. 500 ships, Captain Pete said quietly. They're throwing everything they have at us. Dr. Miller smiled. Good. It's time to show them our masterpiece. He pressed a button on his console. Bring out the Alpha unit. Deep within the moon's core, in a chamber larger than any other, something stirred. Something massive. Something that hadn't walked the Earth for 65 million years. The Dominion fleet's supreme commander appeared on the main screen. Your prehistoric monsters have caused enough trouble, he snarled. Today, we end this primitive resistance. Primitive, Dr. Miller replied. Let us show you what the true king of Earth's prehistoric era can do. He turned to Captain Pete. Release the Tyrannosaurus. The moon's surface split open. From the massive hangar emerged a sight that made even the alien fleet pause. A Tyrannosaurus Rex, but unlike anything that had ever existed in nature. 60 meters tall, its body enhanced with the strongest bioengineered armor ever created. Its eyes glowed with fierce intelligence, neural implants linking it directly to its human handlers. By the eternal void, the alien commander whispered, "What have you done?" The enhanced T-Rex moved through space with terrifying grace, its massive form adapted perfectly for vacuum combat. Behind it came its pack, 5 more T-Rexes, slightly smaller, but no less deadly. You called Earth the Deathworld. Commander Jack broadcast from the moonbase. Now meet the creature that once ruled the Deathworld. The battle that followed would be talked about for generations. The T-Rexes torn through the alien fleet like paper. Their jaws, now strong enough to crush reinforced spaceship hulls, made short work of the Dominion's newest armor. Their bioengineered muscles let them swim through space with surprising speed. This is impossible, the alien commander shouted as his ships fell one by one. These are extinct creatures. They shouldn't even be able to survive in space. Captain Pete led a raptor pack alongside the T-Rexes, their smaller size letting them slip through the holes their larger cousins created. Earth's creatures ruled our planet for millions of years, he replied. Did you think they couldn't adapt to one more battlefield? The megalodons and plesiosaurs joined the attack, working in perfect coordination with the T-Rexes. Millions of years ago, these creatures had been enemies. Now, enhanced by human science and linked by neural networks, they fought as one unstoppable force. Dr. Miller monitored the battle from the moon base, watching as the vital signs of all their enhanced creatures remained strong. The space adaptations are performing perfectly, he reported. The T-Rexes are exceeding all expected combat parameters. The largest T-Rex, which the troops had nicknamed King, grabbed an alien dreadnought in its massive jaws. With one bite, it crushed the ship's command center, sending the wreckage spinning into space. Your technology is impressive, Commander Jack transmitted to the failing alien fleet. But nature spent millions of years perfecting these creatures. We just helped them take the next step in their evolution. The Dominion fleet tried to retreat, but the T-Rexes were too fast, too strong. Within hours, the battle was over. The aliens' greatest fleet lay in ruins, destroyed by creatures they had dismissed as primitive. In the aftermath, Captain Pete stood on the moon's surface, watching King and its pack patrol the space around Earth's satellite. Through the neural link, he could sense their satisfaction, their pride in protecting their new pack, humanity. They never understood, he said to Dr. Miller. Earth wasn't just a death world. It was a training ground. Every creature we brought back, every enhancement we made, it all came from lessons learned in the harshest classroom in the galaxy. Dr. Miller nodded. And now, the galaxy will have to accept a new truth. Earth's prehistoric creatures aren't just part of our past. They're the key to our future among the stars. Above them, King let out a roar that, even in the vacuum of space, seemed to shake the very fabric of reality. The message was clear. Earth's ancient warriors had returned, and the galaxy would never be the same. 3 months after the moon battle, the grand meeting hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with excited whispers. Representatives from 100 alien species gathered to witness something unprecedented: the surrender of the mighty Dominion fleet to Earth's forces. Dr. Miller and Captain Pete stood proudly before the council, flanked by their most impressive creations. King, the enhanced T-Rex, stood behind them in the massive chamber specially designed to hold Earth's new guardians. A pack of velociraptors moved silently around the room's edges, while overhead, a megalodon floated in a specially designed anti-gravity field. The Dominion's supreme commander approached the center platform, his once proud stance now humbled. In recognition of Earth's superior warfare capabilities, he announced, his voice carrying across the silent chamber, the Dominion hereby surrenders all claims to human territory and recognizes Earth as a sovereign power. Superior warfare capabilities? A council member asked. You mean they're prehistoric creatures? These primitive beasts, as you once called them, Dr. Miller said, gesturing to King, destroyed the most advanced fleet in the galaxy. Perhaps it's time for the council to reconsider what they call primitive. Captain Pete stepped forward, his neural link allowing him to sense the calm confidence of their enhanced creatures. Earth was called a death world because of creatures like these. We didn't just survive them. We learned from them. And now, they fight alongside us. The council chamber erupted in discussion. Many representatives approached, eager to learn more about Earth's biological warfare program. Some offered trade deals, while others sought military alliances. The DNA reconstruction technology alone is priceless, one alien scientist exclaimed, studying scans of the enhanced creatures. And these space adaptations, brilliant. Dr. Miller smiled. Earth's history is full of amazing creatures. We've only scratched the surface of what's possible. The council's chief speaker raised his hands for silence. In light of these developments, the council proposes a new classification for Earth. No longer will it be merely a death world. From this day forward, Earth shall be recognized as a first-class military power, with all rights and privileges thereof. A cheer went up from the human delegation. Through their neural links, they could feel the satisfaction of their prehistoric partners. King let out a low rumble that made several alien representatives step back nervously. There's more, the chief speaker continued. We request Earth's assistance in establishing a new defense force. Your unique approach to warfare could benefit the entire galaxy. Captain Pete looked at the creatures that had become more than weapons. They were partners, friends, fellow soldiers. Our program was designed to protect Earth, he said. But perhaps it's time to think bigger. Dr. Miller nodded. We accept with one condition. He paused, looking around the chamber. The galaxy must understand that these creatures are not just weapons. They are Earth's children, returned from extinction to help us build a better future. They will be treated with respect. The council quickly agreed. As the formal proceedings ended, Dr. Miller and Captain Pete stood on an observation deck, watching Earth's prehistoric army prepare for their return home. Raptors helped load equipment, their enhanced intelligence making them perfect maintenance crews. The megalodons patrolled space lanes, keeping watch for pirates. The T-Rexes, led by King, stood guard over their human allies. They called us primitive, Captain Pete said, reaching out to pat a nearby raptor. They never understood that Earth's past held the key to the galaxy's future. Dr. Miller looked out at the stars. What do you think about bringing back some of the herbivores next? Enhanced mammoths could help establish colonies on ice worlds. Sauropods could assist with heavy construction in low-gravity environments. The possibilities are endless, Captain Pete agreed. Earth's prehistoric creatures aren't just our past anymore. They're our bridge to the stars. Above them, King raised his massive head toward the distant Earth, visible as a blue jewel in space. The greatest predator in Earth's history, now guardian of humanity's future among the stars. Through their neural link, Captain Pete felt its simple but powerful thought. Home. Earth's children had returned from extinction, and the galaxy would never be the same.